How are you doing, you beautiful people? Today in Dota 2 Academy we'll be covering a topic that was requested by a couple of you guys because you said, oh yeah, when I saw you playing and I saw on your screen that you have a custom build. How did you do that? And is it easy? You know, how complicated does it get? So today I will take you through the process, what it takes to make your own custom builds. Let me just show you right away what do I mean by that. I'll just create a lobby very quickly and join the game. Thank you very much. No bots, thank you, but no thanks. And we'll be off. So what you will notice that for characters I've been playing, and I have this mission in my life, I want to play every single Dota 2 character at least 3 times in order to get the bigger picture of how all the characters play together. You will notice that in the build section, instead of recommended items, I have my own set of items. So I have the items I want to buy instead of the ones that Valve suggests me to get. And by the way, the items that Valve suggests in the usual items build are not bad in most cases. So if you're an extreme beginner at Dota 2, don't be worried. Just don't be bothered by this. I mean, it doesn't influence your gameplay at your level at all, nearly at all. So I would go for the build you have. Now, if you're more advanced and you want to learn more advanced techniques, what you will do is you will create your own custom builds, or you will just remember them. Most of the players just remembers the builds, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But then I'm one of the people that don't have a very good memory. I have a memory of a goldfish, so instead of remembering it all, I prefer to save it. So what you see right now is Valve suggests, here are starting items, early game items, core items, situational items. That's all goody goodness, but let's say I want to change it. I don't want to have a bottle in the early game. I want to have it in core items. I don't want to have magic stick. I always remember I need to purchase this, so why would I have clothing my inventory space here? And for example, I don't like the starting items, so I want to change them, and all of that happens here. There are 2 ways of doing it. The very simple way is to go into edit mode by clicking this icon over here, and then you can start moving the items around. You can even give them back to the shop and no one really cares. Because it doesn't cost you anything. So you can move items quite a lot. You don't need to be careful about it at all. You can move items here. You can switch, core items, situational items. But sadly, you cannot change the headers. So starting items, early game, core items, and situational items. What I usually want to have is some form of a shortcut of all the items in the game. I'm just, moving random items to random places just to show you how this looks. I'm done editing. I will save this by clicking this mark here, and I will save it as a Yegwan the Awesome build. Bidle. It has saved as Bidle. So as you can see, we have Yegwan the Awesome Bidle here, and that way I can go back to the default item build. Give it a second. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Again. Yeah, so it's a bug right now that if you have just edited the default item build and you load it, it won't actually load, but if you load some other build and go back to the default, it will work. So as you can see, this is the default build, and I'm just quickly going to the Yegwan the Awesome build, and it's all here. So that's one way of doing it. But on the other hand, it's very inconvenient. Because you have it takes space, and in Dota 2 we have 98 characters as of now. So having 98 characters listed here would take you around a second or 2 or 3 or 5 even, as my mother usually said, to find the right character here, and it's just not very useful. So what people have developed is a way of changing your default item build. So right away after the game starts, you have the build you want instead of a build that the game suggests and then browsing again. So it all makes it more simple, but you need to go through extra effort at the start to get to that point. So let me show you how exactly is that done. I will just quit this game. Disconnect. Thank you very much. No penalty this time. By the way, I have never ever in my life have I got a penalty by playing Dota. I never leave games. I'm always nice to people. When they want to pause, I let them pause and I go and have a coffee or a tea. I'm okay with that. I'm super cool with people pausing the game. And I always tell other players, listen, no, don't unpause right now. Let them wait. We may need to pause later. So I have never been reported in my life. Yeah, that's how you roll. That, you know, being nice is also cool. Now back to the screen. Let me show you here. Yeah, it should work. I will go. This is a folder I have set up for myself. It's on my C folder, and it's yeah. If you see the porn label somewhere here, don't mind that. It's all private. Now what I have is I have a backup folder where I keep all the builds. I have a current date folder where I keep the builds that I'm using right now, and also I have linked the item builds and remote folders from the Dota 2 installation folder. I will show you step by step how to do this, and also I have this awesome piece of software that's called Dota 2 Recommended Item Customizer. Now, the software is cool, but you know, in order for the software to be 100% cool, you also need a very nice name for the software. Why wouldn't they call it Dota 2 Customizer or Dota 2 Build-O-Tron 2000? You know, you need a cool name to follow the cool software you're doing. Otherwise, you end up with things like Microsoft's what does our system do? Yeah, Windows, you know? So it isn't a cool name, but sometimes it sticks. But though it then needs to be a two-word name. Right, so in order to get this software, you need to go to Google, obviously, and Google for Dota 2 Build Customizer by Z. And as you can see, you can find it on Google Code, and you go to the download section and download the latest one. I already have it. You just unzip it, and that's pretty much it. The next thing you may want to do is to create these two shortcuts, because you want to quickly navigate between your Dota folder and the place where you hold all the builds. Just right now, I'm explaining all of this about folders, and I see someone on the chat saying, yeah, Gwen, can you explain how to use Magic Stick? Yes, I can, but please, in the break. We'll have a round of questions, so don't worry. Right, so how did I do this? I just went and, you know, you can create new shortcut, and by new shortcut you can browse and you can browse to your D. I think mine is on D. Then I go to Steam, I go to Steam Apps, and then to Common, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and we have Dota 2 Beta, and I choose Dota, and then I choose Item Builds, and I make a shortcut for that, and click Next, and the shortcut appears. Now the same goes for the remote folder. You will find it in the exact same location. You just need to check for it for a second. But what they basically contain is the remote folder contains the builds you have created in the game. So these builds that I shown you, that when you order things around and then save within the client, it saves them in the remote folder. The item builds folder is where all of your all of the default item builds are stored. So this is the place where you want to edit the files. And what I do when I want to edit one of the builds, and we will take Queen of Pain for example, is I look for Queen of Pain here. Let me find her. Where are you? Queen of Pain. Probably under Q. Or not. Am I missing something? Well, these files, and you need to know that these files have one twist to them, because these files have the names of the characters from Warcraft 3 Dota. So that was the Defense of the Ancients. Okay, we will do something else. We will take... I already have this. A center. Okay, we can take a center. So I will copy this. Put it back into my folder. Thank you. I will go to this Dota 2 recommended items customizer. Let's call it RIC or whatever. Oh, they even called it RIC here. And what I will do is I'll just go to the center war chief, right click all of the items. I want to get rid of all of these items. I don't want to know what they are, the suggested items. I want to use my build. So right here on Dotafire.com, I go to hero guidelines, select a hero, that's center warlock or whatever he's called, center war something. Center war runner, yeah. What do you do in life? I run wars. That wasn't very funny, wasn't it? No. Okay, I have your guide to rigged tar. Great. And they have some items suggested over here. So I go back to my Dota 2 recommended item customizer, because we don't know how to make cool names. And I start entering these items here. So salve will be first. 2 times salve, thank you very much. Quelling blade, thank you. And branches times 1, times 2, and sold. Then we want to go for a magic wand. Okay, and we want to go for Hood of Defiance. So we go Hood. I won't enter the whole of the build, just some examples. And for end game, luxury. So this is Heart of Tarasque. Thank you. That I will put this here. And Manta style. Okay. So anyway, right now, what you could do if you want to keep these exact categories of starting items, early game, core items, and luxury, you can just click save. And where is it here? Yes, here. So that would save the build and done. You're done editing your build. What I want to do is something a little bit more fancy. So I open this up, then I go to my hero builds, and I open up the center. I use Notepad++. Don't ask me why, or you can ask me if you want. I used to study computer sciences, so I got used to using it. Really, I copy what I have for my other characters. So it's a structure I called starting items, early game, core items, situational. This is where I put Town Portal Scroll, Word of Observer, and Smoke of Deceit. Because these items, I don't want to be looking for them during a battle. I don't want to enter text. I just want to go to the freaking shop, click them, and have them in my inventory right away. And I call the last group the Yegwen's Finest. So, you can customize your build as much as you want. You can make 10 categories if you want. You can have, oh, I buy this on a sunny day. This is something that I buy when it's cold outside. I don't go for Shiva's Guard then, because it's simply not funny. I want to feel warm inside, so I go for Bloodstone or something like that. So anyway, you can customize the names of the headers that you will get in the game, and we're getting to it shortly. And I then just copy this information that I have just got from the export item build. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Okay, early game. Yeah, core items, there's none, because I haven't done that in the customizer. So I have my center saved right now. I copy the file, I go to item builds where they are stored, I copy and replace, and now I just go back to Dota 2. And when I start a game, create lobby, join slot, thank you very much. So right now, when I start a game with the center war chief, I will just get all the items that I have just put in there, and I will also get the labels that I have chosen for them. So center. Thank you. You're not very much prettier than Queen of Pain, but still, it pains me not to have you. So as you can see, the suggested items right away, it did load. Starting items, early game, core items, situational, and Yegwen's finest. And this is the cool bit I'm always going for, because I want to feel good about myself. That's something I need to do in games to play better. Yeah, so that's basically how you customize your builds. It's not very complicated. You need a tool or two and a setup, but then it's very it's extremely useful to have that, because you don't need to remember your builds. You just read. You read about something in the internet, you think, ah, that's cool, you copy that into the game, and the next time you're playing the character, you will see that the game recommends you the items that you want the game to recommend, instead of just some Valve guys sitting there and you know how they make the builds. Let me tell you a secret. The guys at the Valve that are responsible for making builds, they just have these bricks. And on each of the bricks is, they have a couple of sides. On each side is an item. So you have Pipe of Insight, then you may have a cloak of, the Hood of Defiance, and all sort of, Aghanim Scepter, Heart of Tarasque, and they just put it in a huge ball and they throw it up the air and it falls down, and they have circles on the ground, and depending on where the items fall, that will get placed into that category. So this is what you're playing usually. You don't mind that because you're a beginner, but when you get more advanced, you just want to have your own customized build, because you will be better, and you'll get better by playing this game. So that's basically it for this guide. We'll be back in a second with one more advanced guide about how to move the place where the creeps fight, the waves fight. And that should be interesting. So I'll be back with you in a second, guys. Remember that we have a live channel where we cast, so if you're watching this on YouTube, below this you can find a link where you will see our auditions live. Thank you very much for watching. We'll have a questions and answers session with the audience right away, and I'll be back in a second.